As I mentioned in my last Samsung Galaxy A series video, guys, I bought these two devices, the A21s for my little sister and the A51 for my mom. So I ended up using the A51 for the longest, which was around a month, and I love everything about it except the cameras and the performance. But that's like coming from me, who's an enthusiast. I use the phones a lot, so I think my mom taking up this device twice every hour, so she won't find any issues with performance. But before we dive into the device any deeper, let's look at the unboxing experience. So here we have the A51. Simple packaging from Samsung as usual when it comes onto the A series devices. Nothing too crazy to go about here. So let's just dive in to see what we have inside. There we go. We have the phone up front at first. Let me just put the phone to the side to show you guys what we get inside here. And I'm also going to try to make this quick. So of course we get our charger, adaptive fast charging, even though we know it's only 5 volts. But this is the charger we get. Nothing too crazy. USB at the side. And yeah, that's it for the charger. We also have some cables in here for our headset. So these are the cables we get inside. Very cheap, not the best sound quality, but yeah, that's what we get for our headsets. Very cheap USB-C charging cables, as you can see. Nothing too crazy to go about here. If I were you guys, I would actually buy different charging cables, but these are the USB-C charging cables that we get inside. Not missing too much here. And that's it for the box, guys. Literally, that's it. Well, oh yeah, we also have the paperwork at the top inside here. Go ahead and open this. SIM ejector tool at the back as well. Oh, we actually get a case. No way, we get a case with this. Wow. So they sent a case for the device, and I actually bought a few cases as well, so I'm kind of mad. But yeah, we have a nice little clear case. So yeah, if you guys get this, let me know if everyone got a case with their device. Now let me just clear this area up right here real quick, guys, and I'm gonna power the device on. So here we have the Samsung Galaxy A51s, and it feels really light in the hand. Let's go ahead and give you some ASMR real quick. There we go. And the first thing I have to say, wait, is this a screen protector? Yes, we have a screen protector installed onto the device. Now let's take a look at the back. Oof. Let's pour this on in the time mean. There we go, Samsung A51, secured by Knox, powered by Android. And just look at the back. When the light hits it, it looks so good, man. Alright guys, so my phone just turned on. I'm just putting an SD card that I got from Amazon inside here as well, just to increase the storage. I think this one I have right here is 64 gigs. But overall, everything looks great so far. Phone's running. Unboxing was great. Now let's get back to the review. Alright, so yeah, the features I've seen Samsung rave about the most with the A51 is
awesome screen, awesome camera, long lasting battery life. Awesome screen, awesome camera, long lasting battery life.
So yeah, they're saying the A series line has an awesome screen, awesome camera, and a long lasting battery life. I like that they didn't put the awesome performance in here, because that's probably the only thing I hate about the Samsung Galaxy A51. Also, let's just run through all the specs of the device real quick. So the screen we have right here is a 6.5-inch display, 1080p, coming at 60 Hz. It's AMOLED, so it looks pretty nice. The processor is the Exynos 9611 processor. My device is 4 gigs RAM. It comes at 128 gig storage, but it's expandable up to 512 gigs with a micro SD card slots. We also have 4 cameras here. The rear camera is 48 megapixel. The wide angle is 12 megapixel, ultra wide, And also they have a macro lens which is 5 megapixels. The selfie camera is 32 megapixels and the battery is 4000 milliamp hours. Alright, now let's get the bad thing out of the way, and it's the performance. So the performance on the Galaxy A51 is not impressive. It only has 4 gigs of RAM, as I mentioned. It's not as bad as I make it seem. It opens and runs apps, it loads apps quickly and smoothly enough, but there's just this noticeable lag and stutter during normal usage. It plays hunger power games like Asphalt 9, PUBG smoothly enough at low quality, of course, but games like Fortnite is a total horror movie. It's just so delayed and everyone just seems to have an advantage over you, and it's just not really playable in my opinion. Sometimes I get down to 9 FPS when I'm supposed to be hitting 30 FPS. So performance wise, the A51 is not the best. Now the Geekbench 5 results I got showed a single core of 347 and a 1305 for multi-core. It proves my point. That's right along Google's Pixel 3a's performance, a smartphone from like 2019. In fact, last year's Galaxy A50 had similar scores too. With this in mind, barely any progress in performance has been made, and I was expecting better performance from a phone that was released in 2020. Now at the end of the day, the A51 runs, it streams and plays the same apps, videos, games, and music I usually run on any high-end flagship device. It just doesn't do it as quickly and as smoothly as I had anticipated. Now at times it's frustrating, so imagine when you have a lot of apps installed over a year or so. Good luck. Now onto something that's actually awesome with the Galaxy A51. It's the battery life. So inside the Galaxy A51, the battery life is really good. You can easily get 2 days worth on a single charge. That's one of the benefits of running a lower end processor on the A51. The Exynos chip inside barely sips any battery power compared to the power hungry and powerful chips in higher end phones. In fact, I think, yeah, the iPhone SE, the new iPhone SE, one of the competitors, the main complaint about the new iPhone SE is the battery life. Its small battery wasn't designed to supply a lot of power to the chip, because the chip inside the iPhone SE was the A13 Bionic chip, and that's like really power hungry. So yeah, the battery life on this thing is really good. But I have to note, we don't have any fancy wireless charging or insanely fast chargers here with the A51, which is understandable at $300 for the price range. Heck, not even the OnePlus 8 that I have right here, which is $800, has wireless charging, so don't feel too bad here. Now what we do get though is the standard fast charger, and it gets the job done. It's just not as fast as like any flagship smart like phone that has a fast charger. Now Samsung did well with the A51's in-display fingerprint sensor. It's fast, it's accurate. Facial recognition also works quite well, but it's not the most secure way of unlocking your phone. And yeah, I'll just stick to the in-glass fingerprint reader. Next up, another thing I love about this phone is the design. Now Samsung is calling this thing like a glass stick, which is glass and plastic back design, but one thing that really just surprised me about the phone is how pretty it is. Now beyond the screen and its appealing symmetry, the back has this multicolored, multi-textured thing underneath the glass, giving it a dark and fascinating look that contrasts nicely with the curve of the device itself. Now in the hand, the A51 feels more or less like any of the larger phones released. Now if you could look like right here at 6.5 inches, it's not the biggest phone. Look at all my devices right here. It looks like any flagship device. Now with the rounded edges and the curved glass back or plastic glass back, I don't know what it is, I felt like it would slip out of my hand easily. Thankfully it came with a clear case though and a pre-installed screen protector. I really appreciate Samsung for that. Now the layout is pretty straightforward here guys. With Samsung you get a standard power button beneath the volume on the right hand side. The phone has a headphone jack as well on the bottom where the mono speaker hangs out. The speakers are not going to win any sound sound awards, but it's loud enough to listen to music while taking a shower. I normally just go into the shower, put my phone down on the face base, and I listen to music with the shower on. It's not water resistant, so don't bring this inside the shower with you guys. I usually just keep it on my face base and play music with the shower on. That's like my audio test, and it does pretty well. I could hear the lyrics and while the water is running. So yeah, the speakers are pretty good, but it won't fill up any room or anything. It's just alright. Now let's talk about the camera. Flipping the phone around, on the rear we have 4 cameras. Yes, 4 cameras. So photos on this thing looks really nice. Just don't crop in, don't zoom. That's all I have to tell you guys. The A51's camera handles areas in shade and in the sun well, and the photos are crisp and clear, but sharpness is all it's lacking in my opinion, especially when you zoom. Now here's a shot from a bush I took with the A51 with the house in the back, where the colors appear vibrant and the photo is like overly brightened, but when you zoom in it just shows its true colors. Now the A51 also has an ultra wide, as I mentioned earlier, which isn't very sharp and comes with a lot of lens distortion and oversaturated colors. Now here's the same shot at the same distance but with the ultra wide camera. Let me know what you guys think of these two shots. As I mentioned, they might look sharp, they might look good, but when you zoom in, it's a whole different story. Now, here's a photo I took with the macro lens. It handles the background like really good here. The image is sharp, and when you zoom in a little, there's still a lot of detail. I also tested the portrait mode. It performed well here, blurring the background nicely. Surprisingly, the portrait mode worked well with my hand as well, and I took a photo with my wallet and it did a great job. The color representation was also spot on. I went to the store and took a few shots of some snacks and they came out really well. The colors really like showed itself. Like I had no issues indoors. It took really nice photos. I finally decided to check out the night mode and it wasn't bad, but I've seen better from LG and Google. Now here are the night shots compared to the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I know the iPhone 11 Pro Max is a flagship device, but I just wanted guys to see like some reference photos of what it should probably look like. Now, video capabilities are also surprising on the A51. It could handle 4K recording at a standard 30 frames per second, or you can also go up to 240 FPS if you're willing to settle for HD, which is 1080p. Now, the front-facing camera is also decent with the same tendency to go like for a saturated look. It kind of let my face have this beauty mode, which I wasn't like too fond of. It also had this wide angle mode, which is a software thing, and I don't know, it just kind of lets the image wider, I guess. But for $300, the A51 cameras can hold its own, and the phone itself is pretty decent. Now to wrap things up here, the only thing that raises my eyebrow with this thing is what I've talked about all throughout the video. It's the performance. So yeah, it's alright, it's barely fine now, which isn't good, because for future reference, a couple years down the road, you have a lot of apps on this thing. Just imagine how bad the performance will be. Now, when the A51's performance becomes too slow, the beauty of the premium design, all the beautiful screen, the triple camera lens setup at the back, it just becomes irrelevant, because if you can't use the device, nothing else really matters. Now, I want to say that Galaxy A51 is a good entry-level phone for users on a budget, but Apple's iPhone SE is also a great option. Now, the new iPhone SE is better. It's a better mid-range phone in my opinion, and it's just a better overall entry-level smartphone for almost everyone. Now, if you're going to spend $300, $400 on a smartphone, why not get the iPhone SE? Unless you specifically want a larger screen and probably an ultra wide camera, then I guess the A51 is your best bet. Now, if you're exclusively an Android user, what Google has to offer is also really good. Now, their new Pixel 4a is amazing. It has a way better camera quality and it only starts at $349 US. I'm not sure about Canada. I think it would be like 400. You guys could do it, but the Pixel 4a comes with a polycarbonate build, matte black, rear fingerprint scanner, Snapdragon 730. It's a 5.8-inch display, hole punch, 1080p, headphone jack, 3140 milliamp hours, and you have that stock. You have that stock Android experience. So yeah, let me know what you think about the Galaxy A51. Will you be copying one of these, or will you be waiting for the new Google Pixel 4a? There's tons of videos now up on the Google Pixel 4a, so I don't know, it's up to you. Let me know down below in the comments, and as always guys, love, peace, and tweaks. Signing out.